Welcome to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about the Viltrox AF 15mm 1.7. I have it on Nikon Z50 Mark II, so Z mount, but it's also available on X mount and it's also available on Sony E mount. This is a lightweight plastic made, fantastic lens by Viltrox, and filter thread is 58mm. It can focus from 23 centimeters, so that's a good result. Talking about good results, let's talk about build quality. This is, as I said, plastic lens with metal mount. And like always in case of Viltrox lenses, you have this USB-C port for future firmware upgrades on the back, but there's no weather sealing. The only control point here is this focus ring, which actually rotates and feels pretty smooth. You can focus from 23 centimeters. It's around 200 grams. I don't remember exactly, but it's a lightweight and quite compact lens. However, the most important part is how does it perform, because like build quality is kind of obvious. This is inexpensive lens, so it's all you can expect from this lens, even better than that. Now let's talk about sharpness. Sharpness of this lens straight from 1.7 is pretty good. Specifically in the center there's a drop of contrast, but sharpness is pretty well controlled. In the corners there's good news, because like the drop of contrast and drop of sharpness is visible but nothing dramatic, so something really good to have. If you stop it down to 2.0, of course it is better. 2.8, I would say it reaches its optimum, where you can see fantastic sharpness, fantastic contrast, both in the center of the frame and in the corners of the frame. When talking about sharpness, let's talk about distortion. Distortion here is pretty interesting because it's very well corrected, but you can see that Viltrox has been doing a lot of work, correcting this, geometry, so you can see a little bit of mustache effect on the top and bottom part of the image, and a little bit of pincushion in the left and right corner, but it's just a little bit. So if you are like worried about distortion, don't be worried, because geometry in this lens is really good. What is really not that good is vignetting. I mean, for some people it's not a problem, but I'm just reporting that vignetting is pretty intense in case of this lens, and right out of the box I will tell you that this is the biggest sin of this lens. However, stay tuned with me, because there are some interesting facts about this lens that I'll tell you later at the end of the video, so stay tuned. Now, talking about vignetting at 1.7, it's really heavy, and then it really isn't that much better up to more or less 4.0, where you can see much improvement. So I believe there's some room for improvement here in case of this lens when it comes to future firmware upgrade or profile correction. But that's what we have right now. Now let's talk about work against harsh light. So against light, this lens performs pretty typically. So you have some flaring, you have some smudging here on the top and the bottom of the frame, but it's really okay. There's no huge drop of contrast. There's no, let me put this like, sunglasses, because it's very bright here. So there's no huge, drop of contrast or something like that. So it's, I would say, typical. It's just okay. When talking about work against harsh light, let's talk about work in the night. So you have, chroma and this kind of stuff here. So it's well controlled. As you can see, night shots are pretty well. There's no smudging, no, unpleasant effects here and there. And talking about the night star effect, is beautiful at f11. At f16 it's even better, but at f11 already it is really pretty. So if you put it on the tripod and you want some nice nightscapes of the cities or whatever, then you are covered. Now let's talk about autofocus performance, and autofocus performance in general is very good. I tested it on already very good camera, because I gotta say Nikon Z50 Mark II does have a fantastic autofocus system. So in this case it did not disappoint. There's no hunt, there's no pump, it's pretty silent, a little audible, but it's pretty fast, pretty it's good. It's just perfect partner for Nikon. Probably it would perform a little worse on Fujifilm, but that's normal because Fujifilm's autofocus is anyways. Now let's move ahead, let's move forward to focus breathing, something good to know for videographers. So there is a substantial amount of focus breathing, and you gotta be aware of that there's, it is really visible. To me, it's not a deal breaker by any means, but something good to know. Now let's talk about, close-up image, because you can get as close as 23 centimeters, I believe. Yeah, 23 centimeters I don't know how much is it in inches, but you can check it up online. However, if you focus, like if you close up, the good news is that this lens keeps its sharpness. There's a drop of contrast as it was in case of non-close-up images, but still the performance is pretty good. But if you really want to have optimal performance when it comes to close-up images, then just stop it down to 2.8, and there you see you have a very, very good image quality. You can see all the details, so no problem with that. To sum up, this lens is just amazing, because for that price, 15mm at 1.7 at this weight, you know, like very lightweight and small. If somebody told me like 10 years ago that I would get this kind of lens with this optics for that price, I would not believe it. So if you are budget-oriented photographer and you want wide angle, good performing lens that is equivalent of more or less something between 22 and 23mm for full frame, then you are covered. So again, Viltrox is doing great job here. They're covering the real need of photographers that need bright, inexpensive, lightweight, you know, lens. And I wouldn't be surprised if many pro photographers, not only amateurs, will find room for this kind of lens, because this lens also covers pretty well full frame camera. If you just turn on little crop, like for example 4K 60 frames per second A7 Mark IV that I own, this lens can actually cover without, you know, a lot of vignetting, you know, the sensor. So that's a little bit of a pro tip here, but yeah, that's what you have. So congratulations, Viltrox. This video is not sponsored, it's just my personal opinion. And when you look at the samples from this lens that you could be watching for some time right now during this long and boring summary, then you can see that I really enjoyed, and my wife doing this photo session really enjoyed working with this guy. Then probably we will keep it. And I hope this is enough of the recommendation. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below. If you have some questions about Viltrox 15mm, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I see you guys in the next one. Cheers!